Center. I'm trying to see if there's people online too. I'm Reverend Kathy. We're in Coon Rapids, Minnesota, for those of you who are online. And we welcome all of you both in person and online. Looks like it's a quiet day today. So we're part of a greater worldwide unity movement. We are the publishers of the Daily Word magazine, and we've been holding 133 years of prayer vigil through Silent Unity, the prayer ministry of the unity movement. So prayer is the heart and soul of unity. And we always have a prayer chaplain who prays with you. And Susan Marie is our prayer chaplain today. She's waving, and she's available right after service. Her number will show up on the chat or at announcements. Also, we are an inclusive community. We welcome and accept all people. So whoever you are, wherever you are on your journey of faith, you're welcome here at Unity North. And we're glad you're with us. All right. Today, our producers are Brandy and Nancy. You can see them wave. And glad you're with us today, Brandy and Nancy. And our worship assistant today is Rhonda Italiano. And back again, what we're happy about is Judy Vinar, our musician. All right. Great. And so before we do an opening song, I invite you to speak with me our mission and vision statements. We just show up in just a second here. All right, let's start with our vision. Centered in prayer, we create for all a world of love, harmony, and abundance. And our mission is celebrating spirit, exploring truths, awakening hearts, inspiring dreams, serving community. And you note our values at the bottom. These are our core beliefs here at Unity North. And with that, I invite you to stand for our opening song.
If you are searching, come on in. We're all on this journey that starts within. If you've got a burden, come lay it on down. Raise up your voices as we gather around. Whoever you are, whomever you love, however you came to be in this community, you are welcome here. You are welcome here. If you are joyful or you're concerned, come share your story. The chalice flame burns. If your heart is broken, you've been disowned, come join our circle, my favorite line, and turn off your phone. Whoever you are, whomever you love, however you came to be in this community, you are welcome here. You are welcome here. If you are running, you've got the right to seek sanctuary, guided by the light. If you hear that calling, come join the fight. marching for justice, candles lit in the night. Whoever you are, whomever you love, however you came to be in this community, you are welcome here. You are welcome here. Oh, you are welcome here.
Good morning. This is the point in our service when we greet our neighbors. So please turn to someone near you, staying in your seat, and wave. Don't forget to wave to our friends on Zoom. Very good. Do we have anyone in-house who is joining us for the first time? Maybe you could raise your hand so we can acknowledge you. Welcome. Can you tell us your names? Aiden and Jake, we're happy to have you with us this morning. How about online? I can only see a few squares here. I feel like I'm on Hollywood Squares. Anyone new you could wave and unmute yourself? No? All right. Well, we have all welcomed one another. We have been welcoming. We have prayer request time here. So this is the point in our service when we pause and recognize any prayers that may be hanging out there. I don't have any written in front of me, so we will simply take a breath. Whatever may be on your mind, on your heart, happening out in the world today, we take a moment. Breathing in and out, remembering that our breath is our connection to spirit. And we silently hold a vision of resolution. We give thanks in advance for answered prayers. Continuing in that prayerful state, we will have the daily word. The word for today, Sunday, June 11th, is grace. With joy and gratitude, I welcome grace. The guiding, healing, harmonizing presence and power of God is everywhere present. Divine grace is mine whenever I say yes to this presence within me. I release any thought that I am unworthy of grace. Nothing I could do or fail to do would ever disturb my divine identity. Grace need not be earned, nor can it be bought. It is inexhaustible. No matter how much comes my way, I can relax in complete trust that even more will be available as I need it. Grace doesn't happen to me, it expresses through me. Just as I have been blessed to receive grace when I have needed it, I am honored to be the conduit through which it flows to someone else, blessing them in a time of need. From 2 Corinthians 4:15, we read, "Yes, everything is for your sake, so that grace, as it extends to more and more people, may increase thanksgiving to the glory of God." The word for today is grace.
Surely the presence of God is in this place. I can feel the mighty power and grace. There's a holy hush around us. I see glory on each face. place. Surely the presence of God is in this place. I can feel the mighty power and grace. There's a holy hush around us. I see glory on each face. Surely the presence of God is in this place.
I invite you now to sit back and close your eyes for meditation. Find a comfortable position and take several deep breaths as you begin to say to yourself, I'm completely and fully relaxed. And allow me to speak the words for you, taking them in as your own. It is not I, but the Christ within who does the work. I'm now in the presence of pure being, immersed in the Holy Spirit of life, love, and wisdom. I relax more deeply now as I breathe in the vitality of the earth, medicine for my soul. And for a moment, I imagine the beauty of the planet as I float above it. Beautiful meadows, wheat-filled plains, snow-capped mountains. I imagine the sound of birds as I watch them in perfect flight. Deep canyons and vast deserts stretch out before me. Lakes and rivers and forests call out to me below. I see multicolored flowers and all manner of trees, and feel the spray of the ocean on my face as I take in the smell of the salt air and watch the sun glistening on iridescent waves. And just for a moment, I imagine my favorite place in nature, and I rest there. And for a moment there, I think of the four-legged creatures of earth, the animals, the Native Americans have a tradition in their vision questing, which is like a waking dream experience, where they're often visited by an animal spirit in their visions. So for a moment, allow yourself to call forth an animal spirit, an animal totem, often called a power animal. Just see what animal comes to your mind. When you think of one, allow yourself to feel one with it, even to see if it has a message for you. And just take a moment in the silence to ask for a message or whatever guidance you may need right now. Now give thanks to this animal spirit that showed up for you. And if you did not experience one, know that you have still benefited from this time of peace. Stay open and receptive to the presence of an animal later this day or this week. And in this peaceful place, I pray for myself, for others, and for the earth. I ask for the earth medicine to heal me now in spirit, soul, and body, to heal the great web of life and all living beings within it, to heal our earth. Let light enfold me, that my inward eye may see clearly the path that lies ahead, and my mind be opened up, that I may recognize signposts along the way. Grant me the wisdom that comes from understanding the true from the false. Let my dreams be true ones, dreams that guide me and heal me and others, and guide my steps, that should I falter or stumble, tripped by former beliefs that blind me still, I may go forward with courage and with a determination that persistence bears. Let me be embraced with the love by which the whole creation is moved, the very essence with which all things are held together, dependent yet independent, whole yet individuated, in which all are my relatives. Let me know the way that is the beauty way, the beautiful way, where all who will may walk in beauty, and where the end of my path is but a new beginning to my infinity, and every new beginning another ever-present moment in eternity. For the beauty of the earth, for the love of the animal kingdom, and for all of our blessings, we say thank you, God, and so it is. Amen.
So which wolf will you feed? One makes you strong, one makes you weak. And those who know and those who seek, amidst the chaos, find your peace. I know which wolf I'll feed. I know which wolf I'll feed. Hoi, 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 hoi. Hoi, 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 hoi. Hoi, 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 hoi. Oh, hoi, 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 hoi. Great Spirit, I have had it. Bring me back to the nomadic way of weaving through the damage. Mindful, staying mindful. Great Spirit, for my sisters, let me be a flowing river. Flood the banks, the rocks that bind her. Carry, I'll carry. Great Spirit, oh, great Spirit, wow, Great Spirit, for my brothers, let me be a mountain under which he climbs to discover his process. Now that's progress. Great Spirit, all that hinders, tie reminders to my fingers. I must speak with you more often. Ooh, great Spirit. Wow, great Spirit. Wow, Great Spirit, for my relations, give them strength to face racism in every single situation. Easy now, go on, speak aloud. Great Spirit, take me instead, guide me down the road of red to Nkashila. Oh, I'm saying, praying, Tunkashina. Oh, Tunkashina. Oh. Great Spirit, system collapse, nothing but the earth will last, and I'll be singing sweetly into the darkness. Now hark this, Great Spirit, on my tongue, be still, be still. The time will come when everyone will sing, oh, life is sacred, while I'm saying, Great Spirit, my fist is up, bringing the power to the people, your reflection of us. Some of your people can't hear it, the cries of the earth. Some of your people can't hear it, the way that it hurts, and it hurts, Great Spirit. Oh, and it moves, Great Spirit. It's interconnected in the wreckage of a paradigm on its way out. Its way out. Speaking of spiritual, lyrical testimonies, a spirited lyricist weaving around false prophecies, spirit directed and selected with the message I bring. While the ship slowly sinks, I've been directed to sing. I'm like a wrecking ball, bringing down the walls of the past. A minimalist, feeding my bliss with the last of my cash. You're gonna be justified with how you treated the land. You're gonna be by my side when I stand and demand a change. They know not what they do. They know not what they do. Can we forgive them for that too? Let them see you.
What a great song, Judy. Thank you. That was wonderful.
May I credit the writer? Nako Bear. You should check him out. He's a fantastic musician. Nahko, bear like the animal.
Beautiful. Well, I decided to talk about Shamanic Dream Journey this morning. I'm starting a dream class this week, 3 weeks, but not specifically on shamanism, but I thought this was appropriate for today. First of all, I'll just begin with a man who was visiting his psychiatrist, and he said, "You've got to help me. I'm dreaming every single night that I'm in this major badminton contest, and I wake up exhausted and sweaty." And the psychiatrist says to him, "Well, okay, well, here's some medicine for you. Just take it right now and the cure will be immediate." And the man said, "Well, wait, do I have to do it right now? Can I wait till tomorrow?" And the psychiatrist says, "Why?" He said, "Because tonight's our big championship game." Well, our dreams are more important than we know. They help reveal the content of the personal unconscious and also help us tap into the collective unconscious so we come to know the true self and our connection with the divine. So we must unravel the threads woven together to form the fabric of our dreams, the images, symbols, and metaphors, the stuff of stories, to expose their meaning and discover our dreams' messages so that we can progress further on our personal and collective journeys. Sometimes it's very difficult to understand all the symbols and strange meanings of dreams. There's this highway in Monterey, California, and as you're driving down the coast, there's a certain patch of it. As you're looking out to the ocean, you can see nothing but billboards. And, you know, it's not a great ocean view, obviously. And this is sort of like doing dream work in the sense that sometimes we'll have a dream and one might say to oneself, well, say the dream is about moving. And you say, well, that's obvious because I'm in the middle of a move. Well, that's like looking at the billboard instead of the ocean. That's taking what's obvious because we already know about it and missing the ocean, missing that deeper meaning that is always there below, because dreams come to tell us what we don't already know. So I want to talk about the dream journey in 3 ways today. First of all, the shamanic dream journey. And secondly, re-entering a dream. And third, taking action from our dreams. So first, the shamanic dream journey. Let me preface by saying that dream author Anne Faraday wrote that Carl Jung, Swiss psychiatrist and father of analytical psychology, who centered most of his work on dreams, told of a conversation he had with the chief of the Pueblo Indians. Jung asked the chief's opinion of the white man and was told it was not a very high one. White people, said the chief, seem always upset, always looking for something, with the result their faces are covered with wrinkles. He added that white people must be crazy because they think with their heads, and it's well known only crazy people do that. Jung asked in surprise how the Indian thought, to which the chief replied that naturally he thought with his heart. Faraday goes on to say it's precisely because dreams help us get ourselves together that I have called them thoughts of the heart. So medicine men and women of indigenous cultures have long known about the power of dreams and the importance of connecting with the great universal heart. Carl Jung would have called it the collective unconscious, as many unity people do today. I know that Karl Schlotterbeck has been a big part of this community for over 30 years and has been, you could say, your resident shaman, teaching many courses. Many of you have taken them, and so some of this will be good review. And for others, it may be completely new to you. But the medicine person or shaman has traditionally been the main dreamer and healer for the entire community. Shamans practice their discipline in a type of trance or dream state. The shaman journeys into what is called non-ordinary reality, or a deeper state of consciousness, to obtain healing assistance, information, and guidance. And the journey involves what we might call a waking dream experience. So many people today have a shamanic type of calling. Like shamans, persons meant to work in the healing field are often wounded healers. And their journey has included going through a crisis, dying to an old personality, fighting their way back to health and wholeness and a more conscious life. And they gain a certain quality that enables them to put others in touch with healing too. I've always believed that Myrtle Fillmore, the co-founder of Unity, had a very shamanic kind of calling. She was dying of tuberculosis, but she found her healing. She was healed and gained the ability to then help others heal as well. Shamans, in the shamanic language, they would say she was called by the spirits. And her husband, Charles Fillmore, co-founder of Unity, also had a similar kind of calling, I think, in the sense that he too found his healing from illness and injury and was returned to health and wholeness, and also gained the ability to help others heal. But he was really more of the dreamer. He had a number of prophetic dreams that helped guide the Unity movement, particularly in the early days. So the Fillmores, like shamans, were the dreamer and healer for the entire community that became Unity. So too was Carl Jung, such a dreamer and healer for all of us. I mentioned him, I just finished a class about him, so he's in my head a little bit. But his experiences had a huge impact on our worldview. Whatever our calling, each of us has the potential to tune into the great universal heart, the great web of life, the collective unconscious. And once we do, we can never again view our planet or its creatures in the same way. We want to help, and we often become light workers for the earth. So the psychological approach generally says that a dream is like a description of our own psyche, with every part of it representing an aspect of our consciousness. The shamanic approach would say that anything with our eyes closed that we see is a spirit. It is from the spirit world, and it is spiritual. The premise is that there are compassionate beings or spirits waiting to help us. Sometimes they will send us a dream at night. Sometimes we can take a waking dream journey to ask for their help. So as an aside, there's a brief story about this. So I studied with the shaman Michael Harner and his wife Sandra many years ago. He was the author of The Way of the Shaman, and he was a cultural anthropologist who back in the 50s became involved in shamanism and was trained through Native Americans in southern countries. And he actually spent many years helping to return shamanism to many of the native tribes on the planet who had lost their medicine men or women. And so I also studied with his wife, Sandra, and I had a workshop from her one time, and she told this story I've never forgotten. It's kind of a funny story, but it's sort of interesting, little aside. And in the early days, she said, the two of them conducted a seminar at Esalen, the spiritual retreat center just south of Big Sur on the central coast of California. And they were there with Carlos Castaneda. And he's the anthropologist who first brought shamanism to the public's attention in the late 60s and early 70s, with stories of his teacher, his shaman teacher and mentor, Don Juan, who he met in Mexico. So Michael and Sandra Harner were there at Esalen with Carlos Castaneda, and they were doing a seminar that lasted some days. And while they were there, down the hall from them was a famous psychologist This is shamanic calling. You never know how our calls come, right? Anyway, this famous psychologist was right down the hall, and his name was Fritz Perls. Some of you may have heard of him. He was the founder of Gestalt therapy. And he's also the one who said that every aspect of a dream is an aspect of our psyche. So he was in between sessions, and Michael Murphy, the director of SLN at the time, invited him to come into the session to hear Michael and Sandra Harner and Carlos Castaneda. And Fritz Perls came in, and he sat there, and as he listened, he got more and more agitated. And you could tell he was upset, and then he had to leave, so he left kind of visibly upset. But the seminar went on till finally it was the last day. And again, there were some newscasters there who were recording the session, and Michael Murphy invited Fritz Perls back in because he had free time again. And so as Fritz Perls sat there, he started getting angry with Carlos Castaneda, and he started saying, "There is no such thing as spirits. It's all in the mind." And he got so furious, he came over to him and he stood above him and he was yelling at him. And then unbelievably, he slapped Carlos Castaneda across the face. And I had to think about that. What would you do if you're sitting there and somebody's standing above you yelling at you because you believe differently and then slaps you? What would your response be? Well, Sandra Harner explained that Carlos Castaneda's response was classic. He stayed very peaceful and calm, and he just looked at Fritz Perls and he said, "Fritz, you are a naughty, naughty boy." And I always got a kick out of that story. To be so centered, you can have that kind of response, first of all. But anyway, the idea is the main difference in the psychological and shamanic approach. One believes it's all in the mind, and the other that it's all about spirits. I believe unity would take a both and position. They're both right in one sense, and certainly they both have value and meaning. Shamans journey intentionally, and unlike most of us who use meditative music, they often do so through a persistent trance-inducing drumbeat that takes one into alpha and theta levels of mind, the place where dreams and visions occur. So I want to give you a personal example of a dream journey, just to give you an idea of what one can be like. And I did not really choose to study this subject. I would say it kind of chose me. And that's how it happens, like that phone call out of the blue, you know. I've written in my book, The Unorthodox Life, about my encounter with a deer when I was in ministerial school. And I've told some of you about it, but since it relates, I want to share it very briefly. This story tells how I was driving to school one morning to do a talk of all things on death and re-embodiment. And I was taking my 6-year-old Justin at the time to daycare, and he was asleep in the front seat. He was buckled in, but asleep. And we're driving along, and it's still dark. And we're on this highway, and suddenly I'm gazing into the eyes of a deer. And all I can do is slam on the brakes and brace myself. And it was a 10-point buck. And the sheriff later said it was the largest deer 10-point buck you'd ever seen. It knocked us off the road into an embankment, thankfully, so the car behind didn't hit us. And it destroyed the hood of the car, which we had just replaced, but it didn't go through the window, amazingly. And we weren't hurt, we were just shaken up. But the deer fell, it got up, it fell again, got up about 4 or 5 times till it made its way to my car window and looked into my eyes and fell and died. So needless to say, I was utterly traumatized by that experience. And later had to keep asking about it. I want to just interject here a minute. I came across a humorous writing by Jean Dumont, a wildlife biologist in Maine, who said a man once called to request that a deer crossing sign on his road near his home be removed because a number of deer had been hit there. Somehow the man wanted the deer crossing signs taken down because he thought that would stop the deer from crossing. Well, anyway, I asked in prayer why that had happened, that this experience of killing the deer. And several days later, I met a woman through an unusual set of circumstances, and she ended up being a shaman, and she led me on a shamanic dream journey to find out why the deer had died. And so she used her drum and took me through this meditation experience, and then I was led to an animal who then gave me that answer. And then a few days later, I was at another gathering, and it turns out I met a man from the Deer Clan, of all things, a Native American man, and he shared with me that they believe that when animals die like that, in that sort of way, when you're connected, that they give you their power. And the power of the deer, he said, was gentle strength. And this was right before I was on the verge of going out to my first church, to serve at my first church. And so I had one more dream journey with the woman who had helped me, just to follow up. And I tried to go, shamans call it, into the lower world, which is where they say it's the realm of the animals mainly. And I wasn't allowed to as I went into this journey. Instead, there was this giant cave, and there was a giant black widow whose web took up the whole cave entrance. And I heard her say, "You don't need more earth medicine. You need to go up to the upper world." And she catapulted me in her web up. This was what the meditation was like. And went to the upper world, which is a whole other story. But right after that, when we moved to Arizona, my first house, I was with my 2 sons, the house was filled with black widows. So it was the garage, and we did not like that house very much at all. And so we were only there about 8 months. And when we got to the next house, I sort of made this bargain. I just did this prayer and said I didn't want to see another black widow in that house or in the garage. And I didn't. But what happened is, from that moment, they came into my dreams and became like a spirit guide. And black widow would always show up whenever I needed to be warned about something. It's not a pleasant spirit guide in a dream. It's no fun to dream about black widows. It's scary. But it was always a great warning. And it went on for years and years, really till I moved here, I would say. What would happen is I'd get the dream, and something in the dream would identify what I was being warned about. And this helped me through all my churches through the years. And then what happened is, if it was really serious, I would actually have one show up. But I was actually very happy to hear that black widows do not like this climate in Minnesota. So, needless to say, since that time, I have a different connection with spiders and other animal spirits that have been helpful as well. It's believed most of them are compassionate and they want to help us. And in my experience, it's absolutely true. Are they really spirits, or are they all in the mind? Well, to me, it doesn't matter at all. What matters is the meaning we give it and the positive ways it can impact our life. So you can take your own dream journey, and you don't need to have somebody there drumming for you. If you want to do more of a real shamanic dream journey, you can get yourself a drumming CD, or if you have Alexa, ask her, come up with a drumming CD. And then if it's a CD, or just download, however you do it. And then just darken your room, light a candle if you want, or not, have it pure dark. And then just start the drumming. Play the drumming. And in a meditative state, a real dream journey would be more like you try to find a way down to the lower world not being a bad place, but think of it as where the animals dwell. That's one way to think of it anyway. And just imagine yourself going through some kind of hole in the ground, go through a campfire, a knot hole in a tree, a cave, and then go through a tunnel, and then see yourself coming out into another world and look for animals. There may be one or two here or there, but if there's one that is persistent, that keeps coming for you, then know that that is your power animal for the time anyway, and then see if it has a message for you. So it can be that simple. Or if you want to make it simpler and you don't want drumming, just use beautiful music. Just sit and ask for an animal to show up, animal spirit, and ask if there is a message for you. And this is in a way much like incubating a nighttime dream, which is where before we go to sleep, we ask for a dream and we ask to remember it. So the second part I wanted to talk to you about is called re-entering the dream. Dream worker and author Robert Moss talks about dream re-entry. And this is much like a shamanic dream journey where with drumming accompaniment or with meditation music, if that's all that's available, we re-enter the dream. So if there's a dream you've been wondering about, imagine ourselves going back in the dream we choose, and we focus on a particular image in the dream that we don't understand, and we just let it reveal itself to us. We don't try to theorize about it. We keep focusing on the image, and then we just let it open up and see where our thoughts take us. For example, Robert Moss tells of another woman who kept dreaming of a spider, a scary one in her case. It was jumping all over her house. And she chose to re-enter her dream in meditation and hold that image. But she was a little frightened too, because she thought it was going to warn her about a health problem. But she went into meditation and she focused on the image of the spider as she was dreaming it. And it kept growing larger until it morphed into the goddess Spider Woman. And the Spider Woman told her that she could weave her life in different ways. And she did not have to get the illness she was worried about. So she came out of the experience very empowered. And the third is taking action from our dreams. You know, our dreams invite us to take action. If we dream of an animal, for example, that gives us a message, we can find a picture of that animal and put it on our table or on our altar or whatever it is. We can try to embrace the animal's positive qualities. This is honoring it. If we dream of a deceased loved one, we might light a candle and send prayers for that person. Taking action is also following the guidance we receive through our dreams. So, you know, dreams of guided me to most of my churches. I've had the dream first and then taken action by applying and then seeing what happens from there. But let me tell you an amazing story Robert Moss tells about a woman who took action and followed the guidance of her dreams. Many of you may know about Harriet Tubman, an African-American woman. She grows up as a slave in the South under terrible conditions and hardship. But in her dreams, she flies free. Sometimes over landscapes she recognizes and is seeing like a bird from the air. She sees plantations, rivers, landscapes going north to freedom. In some of these dreams, she's welcomed by women in white. And these dreams eventually inspire Harriet to make a break for freedom. And as she travels north, she follows the aerial maps that her dreams gave her. Her dreams have shown her where to go, and she goes north and gets free. And then her dreams inspire her to go back to the South and help bring other slaves to freedom. So she uses again the map from her dreams to guide people safely across landscapes none of them have ever seen, avoiding posses and bloodhounds. There is a moment when she's traveling in a group too large for safety, and one man is bleeding through his clothes where he was flogged by the overseer the day before. And Harriet has to take one of her naps. She has to lie down by the side of the road. Everyone is nervous, but she has to nap. And in her few minutes of napping, she has a vision, a dream. And she says, we've got to go the other way. There are bad people up ahead. And unknown to any of them, there was a posse ahead. And so they go the other way, and she leads them, according to the dream, to a flooded river. And everyone is absolutely terrified to cross. But she walks into the river, this small woman, and she follows a zigzag serpentine path, finding the places where she can stand with her nose and mouth still above the water. And they follow her, and just on the other side is a barn with free people who give them shelter and food, and they all find their freedom. Just because of her dreams. And because not only did she have them, but she acted on them and followed them. This story shows the power of taking action on our dreams and the role of dreaming in human liberation. She helped lead 300 people to freedom because she followed her dreams. So I invite you, let us awaken to the universal heart, the great web of life, that collective unconscious, and know the truth that we are all one. And there are many compassionate friends, including our dreams, just waiting to show us the wonders of our true self and the ways of being in the world in greater service. Dreams are living stories that come to guide us, to teach us, to heal us, and to transform our lives. Let us honor them for the benefit of all. God bless you. May you all continue to have sweet dreams. Thank you.
If you believe, then in your heart you'll know that no one can change the path that you must go. Believe what you feel, And know you're right because the time will come around when you say it's yours. Believe there's a reason to be. Believe you can make time stand still. And know from the moment you try, if you believe, I know you will. Believe in yourself right from the start. You have the brains, you have the heart. You have the courage to last your whole life through. If you believe in yourself, if you believe in yourself, just believe in yourself. Right from the start, believe in the magic that's inside your heart. Believe all these things, not because I told you to, but believe in yourself. Just believe in yourself like I believe in you. I do.
That was rich and beautiful. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. We have come to the point in our service when we bless our offering. So there is a code there. You're welcome to scan the QR code, or you can go to our website, gounitynorthmn.org, and give there. If you are here live, there is a box in the back of the sanctuary, so several ways for you to give this morning. The basket, I'm sorry. We used to put them in the box and they changed it on me. Please leave your gifts in the basket. All right, however you have chosen to give, if you would please say the offering blessing with me now. Divine love flowing through me now blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive, and I am grateful. Yes.
I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful for all I have. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so blessed. am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful for all that I have. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so blessed.
Karen Drucker chant, what a great way to bless our offering this morning. All right, we have some community news. First of all, our prayer chaplain this morning is Susan Marie Lawler. We shared that information at the beginning of service, and I believe her phone number will show up in the chat if you are with us on Zoom. During the early part of the service, you heard us take a pause for prayer requests. Please know that we have started to accept requests for people to have their prayer requests shared aloud during our time in service. So if you want to have your prayer request announced with everyone during this Sunday service, please go to the website and fill out the form and make sure that you mark share on there so that we know that you want that to be shared with everyone. The deadline for that is 5 p.m. on the Friday before our Sunday service. Also, an update on our special fund. We invite you to donate to our special fund above and beyond your usual giving. Our goal is to reach $10,000 by August 31st in order to cover our recent snowplow expense. It snowed more than we anticipated, so we're trying to recoup that. As you take your summer trips and go off nature worshiping, as many of us love to do over the summer, please consider doing an automatic withdrawal so that you don't have to think about that every Sunday. Outdoor cleaning was last week. Thank you to those who helped with weeding and beautifying our outdoor space. A special shout out to Jennifer Flynn in the bank of our sanctuary. Thank you, Jennifer, for all of the love and care you give to our garden and grounds. We appreciate that. And I am going to turn things over to Reverend Kathy so she can talk about her upcoming classes.
Thank you, Rhonda. Just want to mention that starting the Dream class this Wednesday night, so it'll be 3 weeks, the 14th, 21st, and 28th, from 6:30 to 8 Central Time, and that's on Zoom. So there's information about it on our website, and you can get the link, register there and get the link. And then the next class after that will be starting July 12th for 4 weeks. And that's Myrtle Fillmore, Mother of Unity, Charles Fillmore, Father of Unity. And this is, you can, as you see there, it's about our founders. I found just even in studying to do the class, found amazing stories I hadn't heard before. And also a little more about unity principles along the way. So Rhonda Italiano is now our adult education coordinator. So if you know of a teacher or class that you would like to have at Unity North, please see her, let her know your thoughts and wishes. She's the one to talk to. So thank you for that, Rhonda. And with that, then I think we move on to our affirmation. And let's say this affirmation together with feeling. Centered in prayerful intention, we give thanks for an overflowing abundance of spiritual awakening, prosperity, new members and children for Unity North Spiritual Center. And so it is. And now I invite you to stand as we speak our prayer for protection and sing our peace song. Together, the light of God surrounds us. I am the light of God. The love of God enfolds us. I am the love of God. The power of God protects us. I am the power of God. The presence of God watches over us. I am the presence of God. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well.
at night.